This happened during the summer of 2017 when I was working my first seasonal job at a youth wilderness camp in northern Wisconsin. I was 18 years old and eager to spend a month away from home. The camp sat deep in the woods beside a large lake, miles from the nearest town. There were several buildings scattered throughout the property, including cabins for campers, counselor housing, a dining hall, an activities lodge, and a small administration office. For the most part, the job was great. I made friends quickly, especially another counselor named Ryan. He was a few years older than me and had worked at the camp before. He knew everyone and made the long days a lot more enjoyable. One Friday night after the campers had gone to their cabins, Ryan and I met up with two other counselors near an old hiking trail behind the campgrounds. We were sitting on fallen logs talking and joking around when something interrupted us. At first it was just a faint crunch coming from deeper in the trees. We all stopped talking. The woods became completely silent. A few seconds later, there was a bright flash. For an instant, the entire area lit up. Then darkness returned. Everyone looked around, confused. The flash had been too bright to be a phone screen. One of the counselors immediately suggested it might have been a camera. That possibility made all of us nervous. Camp rules were strict, and none of us wanted trouble. After a few minutes, we headed back toward the main campgrounds. The others eventually went to their cabins, but I couldn't shake the feeling that somebody had been watching us. The more I thought about it, the more paranoid I became. Around midnight, I decided to walk to the administration building and see if any supervisors were still working. I figured I could casually find out whether anyone had been patrolling that area. Using my staff key, I entered through a side door. The building was completely dark. No lights. No voices. Nobody inside. I was about to leave when I heard the entrance door close behind me. The sound echoed through the empty hallway. I froze. I hadn't heard anyone come in. Slowly, I stepped behind a corner and listened. Nothing. No footsteps. No movement. Just silence. Then I noticed something that made my stomach drop. At the far end of the hallway, a face was peeking around a doorway. Just a face. Nothing else. Someone was watching me. The second I realized it, the face disappeared. I didn't wait around. I turned and sprinted for the nearest exit. The entire way back to the counselor cabin, I felt like someone was following me through the darkness. When I burst inside, a few counselors were still awake. Ryan was one of them. I told him what I had seen. He listened, but I could tell he wasn't entirely convinced. He thought maybe I had startled myself. Honestly, I started questioning it too. Maybe I was imagining things. Maybe the flash in the woods had put me on edge. Eventually everyone went to bed. I lay awake staring at the ceiling for hours. The counselor cabins had large windows facing the forest. Most nights moonlight would shine through them. That night, however, the sky was covered with clouds. The room was pitch black. At some point, I finally started drifting off. Then a bright flash exploded outside my window. I sat straight up. For a split second, the room was illuminated. I looked toward the glass. A silhouette stood only a few feet away. Someone was outside staring directly into my room. I couldn't make out any features. Just the outline of a person. Then I saw an arm slowly raise. The figure began waving. I nearly jumped out of bed. I rushed into the hallway and pounded on Ryan's door. When he opened it, I could barely get the words out. I told him somebody was outside my window. The two of us immediately went outside to check. There was nobody there. We searched around the cabin with flashlights. Nothing. No footprints. No signs that anyone had been nearby. Ryan eventually convinced me to sleep on the floor in his room for the night. I didn't argue. The next morning, I reported everything to one of the camp supervisors. She listened carefully but didn't know what to make of it. Without evidence, there wasn't much anyone could do. The remaining weeks passed without another incident. Gradually, I started believing maybe the whole thing had been my imagination. Then came the final morning of camp. The campers had already gone home. Counselors were packing their belongings and preparing to leave. When I stepped outside my cabin, I immediately noticed something attached to the window. 4 photographs. My heart nearly stopped. The first picture showed me sitting on the log in the woods the night of the flash. The second showed me entering the administration building alone. The third showed me standing outside Ryan's room after seeing the figure at my window. And the fourth was a close-up picture of my car parked in the staff lot. Whoever took them had been following me the entire time. I brought the photographs straight to the camp director. I explained everything from the beginning. The photos were collected and reported, but as far as I know, nobody ever discovered who took them. That was nearly a decade ago. Nothing ever came from it. No letters. No phone calls. No further sightings. But every now and then, I think about those photographs. Especially the one of my car. Because it felt less like a picture. And more like a warning.